A lot of my YouTube subscribers do not live in the United States, but I'm sure even if you don't live in this country, you still heard about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial because there was an international media sensation. But here is something that probably even people in the United States have not even heard about. Billy Shemirmir. His trial began about the exact same time as the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. He is an immigrant from Kenya who is accused of being one of the worst serial killers in recent American history. He's accused of killing between 18 to 24 women. And yet, his name is nowhere in the media. This entire story has been quarantined to just the local media outlets in Dallas, Texas. So the media is allegedly so obsessed with reporting on homicides, especially alleged interracial homicides. Well, this is an alleged serial killer who killed between 18 to 24 women, all of them members of a race other than his own. Most of them were white women, one or two were Asian. So back in 2018, a woman called the police and said Billy Shemirmir entered her home under false pretense, attempted to smother her to death with a pillow, and stole her jewelry. And she only passed out. He thought she was dead. She regained consciousness later, called police. Then later on, another woman came forward with the same story, fingered the same guy. When police searched his house, they found documents in his trash with another woman's name and address. When they went to her house, they found her smothered to death. And he was arrested and charged with that woman's murder plus the attempted murder of these other two women. Well, he's been in custody since 2018. Since then, he's been indicted on 17 other murders. And on top of that, 6 other families have publicly named him as the suspect in the murder of one of their loved ones. So these are all women. They tend to be fairly up there in age. Some of them were living in senior facilities, and he would pose as maintenance men and different things to gain access to their home and then allegedly attack and smother them to death. So, about the same exact time the Kyle Rittenhouse trial started, his first trial for his first murder he was arrested for back in 2018 started. And about the same time the Kyle Rittenhouse trial ended, a lone juror refused to convict Shemirmir. Now, I don't know anything about the lone juror that refused to convict, but I'm sure you've all heard of the O.J. Simpson trial, where that was not an isolated event. That is an ongoing and growing phenomenon in the United States. And so now the DA has to retry the whole case. The families have to come back again. They're all devastated. And no news. No news. The bottom line is the media completely ignored it. Those of you, probably there's people watching this who live in Texas and never even heard about it. They didn't even know that a man from Kenya was on trial who's accused of killing 18 to 24 women. The media didn't want anyone to know about this case. And now we've got this Christmas parade massacre in Wisconsin. Now, it was impossible for the media to simply hide this because it was such a major event. I mean, it's essentially the biggest terrorist attack on American soil in years. And now, as soon as it came out that the suspect was black, the media began aggressively downplaying it. NBC National News has published repeated articles calling it an incident, not a massacre, not a slaughter, not intentional homicide, an incident. NBC National News is calling the massacre a crash, as if the perpetrator blew a tire, spun out of control, and ended up smashing into a parade. CNN and NBC, these are the same companies that spent over a year demonizing Kyle Rittenhouse 24/7. These are the same networks that demanded justice for convicted serial child molester Rosenbaum, a convicted child rapist. They don't even want to talk about the Waukesha Christmas parade massacre. Hours before the massacre took place, CNN on their national website ran an article saying the biggest threat to America were angry white males, that America was being paralyzed by angry white males. And then a black man who fantasized about attacking white people on social media, who had all the correct views according to CNN and NBC, he used his Facebook account to attack Donald Trump. He attacked Kyle Rittenhouse. He attacked all the right people. He had all the right beliefs according to CNN and NBC. And he also glorified Black Lives Matter and George Floyd on his Facebook account. Now, he was also a career criminal. He's been arrested over and over and over since the late 90s. He's a convicted sex offender. By his own admission, he was pimping out an underage girl, I believe 16 years old. And earlier in 2021, he was in jail for shooting at his nephew. The district attorney's office released him on a $500 bail. For shooting at his nephew, $500 bail. The district attorney is John Chisholm, who is a radical far-left activist district attorney who opposes cash bail. He has bragged on Twitter about how he's turned the county jail into a revolving door. He opposes holding people. He calls this social justice. November 2nd, he took his car and ran over the mother of his child, what they call the baby mama, for intentionally hitting this woman with his car. They released him on a $1,000 bail. So for trying to shoot his nephew and then intentionally hitting a woman with his car, he's only paid $1,500 in bail. He's walking the streets. Then, as the Christmas parade was going on, we see on video, he smashes his SUV through a barricade as a police officer tries to shoot him. Then he drives down the road, and as he sees the parade of people, he accelerates and rams straight into a giant crowd of people. All the witnesses, all the local authorities, all the video clips, all the evidence shows that it was completely intentional. Not to mention the fact that 2 weeks earlier, he intentionally hit a person with his car, his baby mama. 5 people were killed. Nearly 40 other people were injured. Some of them will now have lifelong, serious, debilitating injuries. An 11-year-old girl had one of her kidneys completely destroyed. It had to be removed, and her other kidney is damaged, plus some of her other organs are damaged. She could spend the rest of her life on kidney dialysis now. And there's other people with very serious, debilitating injuries. Now, this is a parade in an outer suburb of Milwaukee. It's about 85% white, 3% black. Could you imagine if a white Trump supporter rammed his car into a parade in a black neighborhood? The difference in the media coverage would be so extreme. There's people in the media suggesting that this was all an accident. Not one single piece of the evidence suggests that it was an accident. But the media is downplaying, and they're trying to drop the story as fast as possible because no lives matter unless they fit the media's agenda. All right, thanks for watching this video. Click the like button, post a comment below, tell me what you think about this, and make sure you subscribe to my backup channels on BitChute and Odysee. I personally think Odysee is the best video file sharing website. I think it's going to get real big in the future. So I would like for everyone to join that website and start leaving YouTube. All right, click the subscribe button. New video every once in a while.